Hello everyone, welcome back to Obsessive Prepper AZ. I have got to cook several Texas sheet cakes for a event that I've got to do this weekend. Now, if you all don't follow me, I do a lot of like weddings and bridal showers, and I'm actually doing a racquetball tournament feeding 250 people. Friday is 250 for dinner. Saturday is breakfast, lunch, and dinner for 250, and then Sunday is also a breakfast and a lunch. And so some of the things I do are like old recipes, old favorite recipes that I have that I've been doing for years. Just wanted to share this quick recipe with you. It's Texas sheet cake. Now, I've been making it since I was 12 years old, and it has always been a tried and true, tested recipe, and we're going to go ahead and get on into it, and I'll show you what I do. Now, I've got my oven set at 350 degrees. I've got my sheet pan already floured and greased. I do not mess around with grease and flour. I use Baker's Joy, something that has some flour already into it. Makes it so simple and easy to do. Now, in my mixer here, well, let me go back. I've got here 1 cup of water and 2 sticks of butter, which is 1 cup of butter. I went ahead and put it in the microwave. I melted it down, and I'm letting that cool just a little bit. In my mixing bowl here, I'm going to add in 2 cups of flour. Now, this is a 1/2 cup measuring cup that I have, so I'm going to need 4 of these. So I've got 4 cups of flour. Excuse me, 2 cups of flour. And then I'm also going to add in 2 cups of sugar. I will leave the recipe down below in the description if you want to look it up. Let me see if I can get this. I'm kind of running out of sugar here. So we've got 2 cups of sugar. Get this out of the way. The next thing I'm going to add to my mix here is 4 tablespoons of cocoa powder. So I got 1, 2, 3, 4. I remember making this. My mother and father would be in the living room, and I'm 12 years old, and I'm making this recipe. I have no idea where I originally got it from, but it turns out so great. Next thing is baking soda, and it's a 1/2 teaspoon. Add that to it. And then we need a 1/2 teaspoon of salt. Now, I just eye my salt. Salt's already in my butter. I do not purchase unsalted butter, so I know I've got some salt in my butter. So give or take a 1/2 teaspoon of salt. I'm going to go ahead and get this a little bit of a mix in my mixer. Blend it up. All right, next I'm going to add my 1 cup of butter and my 1 cup of water. And I'm going to mix this a little bit. So always start out on slow, because if you go too fast, it's going to be everywhere. Get that relatively blended. The next item I'm going to add is 1 cup of sour cream. This in the sink. We're going to go ahead and blend this up. At this point, what I'm going to do is stop my mixer, and I'm going to go ahead and use my flat spatula, and I'm going to make sure everything's incorporated down at the bottom and scrape the sides. All right. And then the next item I'm going to put in is vanilla. Now, I make my own homemade vanilla. You can see it's running kind of short here. I made 2 quarts of vanilla. This is about, I'm going to say now, 2 months old. You can see how dark it is. I'm trying something new. I've got Madagascar vanilla beans in here, and also Tahitian vanilla beans. I split them. If you want to see how to make that, I've got a clip up here that you can clip on to see how to make your own homemade vanilla. so much cheaper than purchasing at the store, and it tastes so much better. So I'm just going to guesstimate on this. I always tend to add a little bit more vanilla, but it's supposed to be 1 tablespoon of vanilla. Get that a mix. And the last thing I'm going to add is my eggs, 1 at a time. So I'm going to go ahead and get this going on slow. I'll add 1, blend it up. It is so easy. You can't really mess this recipe up. You just want to make sure that your eggs are all incorporated and your butter is not so hot that it's going to cook your eggs when it goes in. All right, we've got our next egg. That's it. That is how simple this recipe is. I'm going to get this in the sink. Now I've got my pan over here. Like I said, it is already greased and floured. I'm going to go ahead and get my paddle out of here. So we're going to go ahead and put this into our pan. I'm a waste not, want not kind of person, so I will scrape all this goodness till I can't get any more. All right. So at this point, all we're going to do is put this in the oven, 350 degrees for 20 to 30 minutes. Everybody's oven's different. So just look at it, make sure, stick a toothpick in it that it comes out dry. And as that is cooking, I'm going to go ahead and start working on the frosting. Now the frosting on this cake is super easy. I've got about 13.5 minutes left in the oven for my cake. And what I will do is I will heat a whole stick of butter in a saucepan, and then you add 1/3 cup of milk. Now, since I was little, like I said, I don't add milk. The recipe calls for it. I've always done either half and half or heavy whipping cream. It just whatever I've got on hand. I like the fats in my milks, so that's why I go ahead and add that extra in, because it makes it so much better. I'm going to get rid of this cup here. Now, in this, we're going to go ahead and whisk this up. And then we're going to add 1 tablespoon of vanilla to our mix. So again, I'm going to guess on it. 1 tablespoon vanilla. Get this out of the way. And then we're going to also add in 2 tablespoons of Hershey's chocolate. I say 4 tablespoons because sometimes once you get your powdered sugar in, it's not rich enough for me. It's not dark enough, if that makes any sense. So I'm going to go ahead and whisk this. You don't want to do it on a burner. If you're going to do it on the burner, make sure it's on a low heat, because you do not want this cocoa to burn really foul when you burn cocoa. So I'm going to get that mixed up. The next thing is it's hard to find box powdered sugar here anymore, so everything's coming in this 2-pound bag. I'm going to use about 1/2 a pack of this powdered sugar. So 16 ounces of powdered sugar, and I'm just going to guess it. You can always add a little bit more vanilla to thin it out if you want to, or a little bit more milk if it's too thick. And I'm going to just sit here and stir this till it's smooth. You would definitely want to use a whisk. And you could also add a little bit at a time, but I never have. I just kind of keep whisking it until all my powdered sugar is broken up. I'll show you the texture here. See that there? So just keep mixing it. Once my cake is out, this is personal preference. Now, I put walnuts on my cake. I love nuts in the cake. And I used to put it in the cake, but I've had a lot of people that don't like nuts. So what I end up doing is on the sheet pan, I will take my walnuts, I will sprinkle half that side with walnuts and then add my frosting. So that way you're giving options to people that just don't like nuts. If you're cooking for your family, do it the way you want it. So this is completely combined now, and all I'm going to do is on a low heat, keep this on the burner, and just every once in a while go over and stir it. Typically, once the cake comes out, you pour it immediately on the cake, and then it just does this nice glaze over the cake. So when my cake comes out of the oven, I'll show you what I do next. So we've got our cake out of the oven. I'm going to go ahead and put my chopped walnuts on 1/2 of the cake. And if you don't like walnuts, you can always use pecans. All right, get that out of the way. And I have my frosting, and all I'm going to do is go ahead and push this all over the cake. This stuff is so good. Got my spatula here, and I'm just going to go ahead and put an even coating all the way around. And it's going to be a little runny, but as it cools, it is going to thicken up and be exactly what you want. So that is how simple it is to make a Texas sheet cake that'll feed a bunch of people. I've got my other one in the oven. I'm going to go ahead and repeat the process on my frosting and get that one out and get another one in. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please subscribe. And if you want to be notified for future videos, ring the bell. Have a blessed day. Yummy. So it took a little over an hour and a half to make 3 sheet cakes. To me, that is a pretty quick baking process, especially when you're trying to do something for a party or a lot of people. James just got home, and what did you tell me earlier on when I was cooking Texas sheet cake?
Make one for me.
And he's diabetic, so he's not allowed to have a whole lot of it. But yeah, every time I make this for a party, I have to make some for him, and then he takes it to work and...
Love it.
Yeah.
I want some now.
He just got home. It's 12:49 at night. The puppers were all excited. He got home. They're all like walking around thinking there's going to be food.
I normally would eat more, but I haven't even ate dinner yet, so.
Give you a little look at how it turns out.
Good.